I'm still working on this, guys. You know, I'm still mastering my mean girl. I'm still practicing crystal clear communication with my husband every day. I'm not going to stand here and say I am quote unquote perfect. I am still on my path and I'm still on my journey. I'm so grateful to be on this path and be on this journey with everyone at the same time.
You're listening to the Almost 30 podcast, a lifestyle podcast hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsay Simsick.
Tune in for a new episode every Tuesday to hear our honest conversations about topics like wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and self-development with guests who are really smart, really inspirational,
and really fucking funny. It's real, it's raw, and it's unfiltered.
Inspired by our transition from our 20s to our 30s, we realized it's so much more than that. Our mission is to provide you with the tools, guidance, and motivation to help you navigate any transitions in your life and propel your personal growth.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Almost 30 podcast.
Here we go. Oh man, Chris and I were just ESPing each other.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy.
Well, it's crazy now because
we were in a conversation earlier, and it was weird because I was thinking the same thing a few times.
We just know by looking at each other. It's hilarious.
Why?
But then there are those very rare moments where we're thinking the exact opposite.
Like what?
I don't know. Well, and how I know is that like if I say like, oh, like how about that Zoe's boyfriend, right? Like how weird was that? And you're like, oh, tell me more.
Oh yeah.
And I know that you aren't in full agreement.
I want more details. Because it's hard to be like, it's hard for me to, I don't agree, or not I don't agree, I just don't have thoughts.
Sometimes, no, 100%.
Sometimes I don't have thoughts on 100%. Anything, so I just come kind of like,
tell me more. It's such a good response.
Yeah.
I love that response.
I want to know more. And if I don't have thoughts, sometimes it's hard because it's like you don't want to like.
You know why I love that response is because I think like, especially when we were younger, if someone was like, you know, oh my God, like the chips at the deli are just, whatever, that's so dumb. And then the other person would be like,
so Philly.
would be like, oh my God, I know. And they had no idea what they're talking about. So just to say like, oh, really? Tell me more.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's what like the fuck are you talking about?
It's like a presence, like here. So many people are sleepwalking. A lot of people are sleepwalking.
I always want to test people after I say something and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, do you know what I just said?
Quiz them.
I do that to my mom, but then I feel bad.
Chloe's here. Chloe's here and she's working on other work. So...
I wonder if they can hear it in the background.
Yeah, can you guys hear
That's
Chloe laughing?
Hilarious.
She's working on Leo Creative.
Oh yeah, do you guys know about Leo
Not
Creative?
Sure this is on the payroll, but I'm okay.
you can go on your lunch break in 5, Chloe.
Yeah, literally. We just killed a bag of skinny dipped almonds. Bags. Bags,
man.
plural.
Here's the thing. I am so grateful. I am so grateful that we get these brands and products to try and all of that. And it's a blessing and a tragedy when they're so fucking good. I'm always sometimes grateful when we get brands to try out and I don't like them because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be a slave to the bag in the fridge or the bag in the whatever. But these skinny dipped almonds, like,
I can't even be having. I'm a now to denying people sending me stuff.
Yeah,
I don't want it. I don't want there's one brand that I can think of. It's a makeup brand. They send me $500 worth of makeup every month.
I literally get the same thing. Should we say the name? Yep.
No. Did you get 2?
Yep. The big ones. I'm like, whoa, this is a suitcase.
100%.
No, I won't say
I'm
it.
like, I feel ashamed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to use this glitter eyeshadow pen. And I feel terrible that I have it. I want to give it to someone that wants it.
Same.
So join the secret Facebook.
I know, literally. Let's do a giveaway.
And let me know if you want it. Like, let me know if you want a bunch of makeup because I have tons of makeup.
And it's not about being ungrateful. It's more we don't really wear makeup so much.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm so grateful. I'm so lucky.
I know.
no one needs that much stuff. People get a lot of stuff. And I am like, we are tip of the iceberg compared to like what some people get.
Oh my God, so true.
You know, like some people get so much stuff you don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah. No, I know. I literally don't. Yeah.
So being an influencer is really hard.
That's really hard.
Sometimes I get packages and it's just too much.
You know what kind of influencer I am?
Huh?
I got tuna.
No. What's the brand?
It's actually really good. Sorry, guys. I know there have been some like comments where they're like, we don't want to hear about you promoting things, but this is literally not me promoting, but I actually do really like it. So it's this brand Safe Catch. Cool. And it's the lowest mercury brand. Cool. So they're really doing their due diligence and checking the levels of mercury, which is really important. It's like dolphin safe, all of that stuff. So it's a really good brand.
Major.
It's major. So I'm that type of influencer where I'm
tuna influencer.
I'm sending some tuna.
I keep applying for this campaign with Paragard IUD, and I literally haven't been accepted. It's pissing me off. So if anyone knows anyone that works at Paragard, I need to promote their IUD.
Oh my God. You wear it?
Uh-huh.
You have it?
I've had it in for 5 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
back
cool.
to fucking birth.
Oh my God. These girls just promote products and talk about vaginas.
Literally.
Every damn day. Anyway,
so what's up with you guys? How's your week? Actually, I've been having one of those weekends where I think everyone hates me.
Oh, tell me more.
I mean, I just feel like everyone hates me. I don't know. I just feel like I've been like, there's like I just feel like I'm picking up on things, you know?
Well, you're very receptive, but I also think you are so receptive that it sometimes isn't what you think.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, also too, people are probably thinking the same thing. You know, like people are probably wondering, but yeah, it's just annoying. I'm like, oh, I'm too tired for this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just, it just makes me sad. But that's okay. I've got you guys.
I feel like you have to remember.
You guys are my friends, right?
It's like everyone's a human.
Yeah.
Zero people, it's cheesy, but zero people are perfect. Everyone's trying to figure it out.
I know.
Everyone has
and
highs and lows of emotions.
And then I pulled the law of attraction card on my angel card. So I have a great angel card deck.
Which one is it?
Doreen Virtue.
Okay. I gotta get that one.
Yeah, it's just great. You know what's interesting with fucking decks is that I have a bunch of decks and there are some that do not work and are not accurate. And my angel card deck is really accurate, like your deck.
My mesquite is so on point.
I'm afraid to go into any other. It's dumb. And it's weird.
I know.
There's like weird energies with some decks where they're really, really on point and some aren't. Because my I forget what the brand is, but my like actual tarot deck is like not on. But my angel deck is like really on.
Yeah, but you're so connected to your angels too.
Yeah. I mean, I say out loud, I'm like, what message do you need to tell me every day? And I got law of attraction today, which was like, if you think that, then that will come.
Wow.
You know, if you're sitting there being like, everyone's mad at me, not everyone's going to get mad at you.
But you're going to see everyone as kind of like thinking about you in that way. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I pulled out, I literally bring my mesquite with me a lot. It's because sometimes I just feel the need either for myself or maybe if people are open to it. I'm not like pushing and weird witchy or whatever, but like I was on the beach with a friend and I like pulled out the deck and he freaked out a little bit, but I was like, I don't fucking care actually.
Did you pull
cards? So on point.
So it's so on point.
And he was like, well, you could apply that. I was like, stop. I actually don't care. Just take it. And you don't have to. You can take it or leave it, but like that was so crazy on point for what you're going through, and I have nothing else to say.
That deck is crazy. The other morning, I was like, tell Justin to pull a card. I'm like, pull a card, and it was in the morning before work. And sometimes before work, he's just like, he calls me 9 to 5 P because I'm like very in the zone. So I was like, you gotta go, like go to work. And I pulled the "It's time to go" card.
Shut up.
I pulled the card and I was like, it's time to go. Isn't that hilarious? He's like, oh man.
That's crazy.
I know.
Wow.
It's probably more so about my job and then the apartment.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Wow.
Okay, so let's talk about news for events. We have upcoming that I hope you guys will please take note of.
Yeah. So coming up actually next week, we will be in New York and Boston. So that by next week, I mean July 16th to the 18th, we will be in New York, and July 19th and 20th will be in Boston. So if you haven't already, we have 2 events in New York, one on the 17th. That's with Alexandra Roxo and Ruby Warrington. It's going to be mystical as hell. We're so pumped. So please grab your tickets to there. Almost sold out. And then also Wednesday evening with Milana Snow at the Assemblage. And that is literally almost sold out in like 2 seconds.
It's probably sold out by now.
Yeah, actually. And then Boston, we have Danica Brescia speaking in Boston.
Mage.
Hello.
That's Mage.
Major. If you haven't met Danica or seen her speak or know who she is.
Or get a hug from her. It's worth
love
it.
her so much.
Who cares about us? I mean.
Honestly. So we're going to be in Boston the 19th. Buy your tickets now. I think we have like 2 left. I don't even know. 2 or 3 left.
I had to open up for more tickets.
So like 10, maybe.
And then we have Soul Cycle rides.
Yeah, so we have our Soul Cycle ride on the 16th of July in New York at the West Village Studio B, 6:45 p.m., taught by me. And then in Boston as well, we're waiting on the exact time. So just check our website. It'll be up there by the time this episode comes out. And we're just pumped to see you. So if you can come to one of those, both, if you're in those cities, awesome. Bring your friends. Yeah, literally so many people have been coming alone. In San Francisco, we had so many people comment that I wasn't sure if I was going to come because I was, coming alone, but I'm so glad I did. Met so many nice people and just felt really comfortable and welcome. And I mean, it's the fucking truth, actually.
Yeah.
It's just like,
all your friends are there. Like,
it's chill.
Yeah, it's totally fine. And then after New York and Boston, we are hitting up Seattle. So Seattle's going to be dope. We have Natalie Miles, who is a psychic. She does spirit guide work and she's the best, you guys. So that event is really special. It's going to be at the Riveter in Seattle on August 11th. And it's like workshop style. So we're really going to be tapping into spirit guides. What are spirit guides? How many do you have? What are they like? It's going to get really mystical and dope.
I'm so proud.
Justin's coming. I'm so excited. Justin got a reading from Natalie and loves her. And then we have Dallas on September 25th. This one is with
Susie Batiste
of Poopery, baby.
Yo, Susie,
number 1.
Number fucking 1. I don't even know what to say. Like, that episode's coming out soon, so please stay tuned. But like, this woman has been bankrupt 3 times and started this company out of like an answer to a question someone asked her, and she's never taken on loans or investors, created this company on her own. Fucking woman founded and owned and run, and it's a $300 million company, and it's insane. And she's
my mom,
grounded, spiritual. She's literally like came in to our studio and was just like this. She saw us. It was like actually crazy.
I know.
Anyway.
I want to kiss her on the lips. So 25th.
So she's not your mom.
Yeah, both. September 25th in Dallas. And then
we'll be in Austin on the 27th.
Yeah, Austin on the 27th. We are figuring out our speakers for that one. That one's going to be awesome in Austin. And then we also have Portland, which we just added. So September 20th, we have in Portland, which is rad. So we just started opening up tickets for that. That's going to be awesome.
That's a lot of information. And I'd like to add, and
there's a quiz.
I'd like to go back for a second. July 25th in LA with Kelly LeVeque. So we have two LA events this summer. So if you're in LA,
there's 3 tickets left.
Yes, to Kelly LeVeque at Sage Wellness on the 25th. And then we have on August 8th, which I'm really pumped about, is the Female Founders Panel. So we have like LA's most badass female founders of some amazing companies like Snow Monkey, Harper Wild, Bev, Flex. I mean, the list, we're just so pumped. It's going to be a valuable evening. So please join us for that. Go onto our website, almost30podcast.com. Okay.
And then the last one's her. Oh, sorry.
Your birthday?
Newly added. Yeah, my birthday. Lindsay's showing me a little bit of leg right now in this.
It's ripped.
It's
ripping more and more.
I love it.
So jank.
We have October 13th is our San Diego stop. So you heard it first.
I'm hearing it first.
You're hearing it first.
Cool.
4 Moon Spa in San Diego. It's in Encinitas. It's a cool grounded, conscious, fun spa that is so cool. I went there with Erica Kimmick for her birthday. And it's like a day. So we're having a live podcast recording. We're having like sound baths. We're having readings. There's just a bunch that's going to be going on in San Diego. And then we're having a catered lunch with you guys. And then we're going to try and do like activities after, maybe have you guys, we can all stay together. Yeah, downtown and Encinitas. So that is October 13th, and you can check the website for the San Diego stop. Wow. Okay.
I'm out of breath.
Okay.
Okay, let's get to today's guest. We're really excited. We don't want to chat too much about it because we do talk a lot in this interview with Melissa Ambrosini of the Melissa Ambrosini Show. That's her own podcast. She's also the author of Open Wide and Mastering Your Mean Girl, as well as various programs and downloadables.
Friend of Peter Kelly. She's just so much fun, such a light. We talk a lot about relationships, just going deeper, communication, whatnot, and what it means to master your inner mean girl. So many of us feel stuck. And so she really gives you actionable ways to propel yourself out of that stuckness. So yeah, we're just really, really excited to share Melissa Ambrosini with you if you don't know her already. And join our secret Facebook group so we can talk about this episode and any others, any questions you have. This group, I think we had like 500 new members over the last week and a half. Yeah, I mean, if that. There's the cutest comment the other day, or actually, let me just read it really quickly because I love the group, from Kristen Urena. Just got done working late and I'm sitting on my couch scrolling through this group. And as I'm reading, I'm astounded because honestly, shout out to every single one of you. This is such a supportive group with beautiful souls and the vulnerability to be open in some cases. Just so much love to each person here. The energy is crazy. I cannot wait to meet some of you babes. And then a bunch of people commented just how much they love everyone in the group. So it's a very special community, very positive, very uplifting. You can share whatever is on your mind and know that you will be heard and supported.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right, guys. Enjoy this episode. Enjoy this episode. We'll see you on the other side.
Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Chosen Foods. Oh, so pumped that Chosen Foods is one of our new sponsors. I've been obsessed with their avocado oil spray for quite some time now. I go through, I'd say like 2 a month. That's excessive. I love it so much. I use it for everything. And what's really special, so they have dressings and marinades and mayos, and they're all amazing. I do want to talk about the avocado oil for a second because it's meticulously tested for quality before reaching your home. Okay. Their industry-leading oil verification test measures the fatty acid profile and nutrient density to ensure your avocado oil is pure and fresh. And they're just so thoughtful in everything that they do. They recycle. So Chosen Foods avocado oil bottles are made with glass from recycled Chilean wine bottles. Okay. And refined avocado oil, just a fun fact, is a high heat cooking oil. So it's safe for cooking up to 500 degrees. So if you've been cooking with other oils, it might not be as safe like olive oil. Also, avocado oil is high in monosaturated fats, which are the good fats, essential for heart and brain health. And I've honestly noticed such a difference when I'm eating healthy fats more often. My cognitive function is so freaking good. So anyway, if that doesn't convince you, I don't know what will. But anyway, go to chosenfoods.com and you can use our code almost30. Forget this. 30% off, all right? But move out of the way. I'm buying all of the avocado oil sprays. Peruse their website, chosenfoods.com. We love them. This is a conscious brand. They care about their ingredients, where they are sourcing them, the community from which they're sourcing them. I'm just like blown away and so proud to have them as a sponsor. Try them out, chosenfoods.com, code almost30. This episode is also brought to you by Moellens. Moellens is our go-to conscious wellness brand for CBD. We are so proud to have them as a sponsor. I have started to incorporate CBD into my routine, and I've just noticed my stress levels decrease, my creativity increase. I'm loving it, period, the end. Amy Duncan is the founder of Moellens, and her passion for plants grew when she was helping her husband battle a malignant brain tumor. about 6 years ago. And as his treatments progressed, so did her belief in the healing power of cannabis, both for him and for her. She found that it made her a more engaged caregiver, thoughtful wife, and attuned businesswoman. So, she was just tapped on the shoulder by this beautiful plant, and this brand was born. And she really believes in the results that you can see and feel. So we are just so excited to share this brand with you. And it's an investment. It's such a beautiful, thoughtful brand. Each of the products are super high quality. I'm obsessed with the inner piece. The supercharged CBD, it has supercharged CBD, purified water, and anhydrous hemp oil. That's it. Super simple. I put it underneath my tongue, 2 drops, or in any beverage like a coffee or water or tea. And I just feel really kind of grounded, creative, open. It's so nice. So you can go to moellens.com and you can use our code ALMOST30, ALMOST30 for 10% off. So peruse the beautiful moellens.com site. And if you get any of the products, let us know in the secret Facebook group. We want to know. Again, loving the inner piece. I also love the Keeper Stash, which is the honey with hemp. Ooh. All right, guys. Love you. We're so happy to have you.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I'm so excited.
Yeah, our listeners have been asking for you to come on, and we've just been thinking about it for a while, and the stars aligned. So we're so grateful. Mm-hmm. For our listeners who don't know you, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, everybody. Let's do it. I am Melissa Ambrosini, and I am an author and speaker, and everything that I do and create is with the intention to inspire women to unlock their full potential, step into their true brilliance, and be the best version of themselves, and create lives and businesses that they love. This is what the universe tapped me on the shoulder and said, this is your purpose here on earth. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. I'll take it. So that's, and I've also got my podcast, which I do and I love. And so this is what my intent is with everything that I do and create, is to inspire women.
When were you tapped by the universe?
What was the tapping like?
The tapping happened in 2010 when I hit rock bottom and ended up in hospital. And before that, I was actually a professional dancer. I danced with the Moulin Rouge in Paris, and I did acting and TV presenting, and I was burning the candle at both ends before that. I didn't know how to nourish my body. I was partying, drinking, burning myself out, and I actually ended up in hospital because of it. Because of the physical abuse that I was putting my body through. I was dealing with depression and anxiety and panic attacks, but also an eating disorder. So physically, my body was breaking down, but emotionally, I was really not in a good place either. And, my friends had just dumped me. I had just moved back from London to Sydney, and I didn't want to move home. My visa expired, so I had to move home. And so I had no friends back in Australia. The guy I was seeing just cheated on me. And I was living on my friend's fold-out single bed thing. Those beds that kind of like fold out from the middle?
Yes.
Like those ones. I was sleeping on that, which gave me the worst back pain. And I'm so grateful to this friend to this day. Like she let me live in her lounge room on that fold out for free for months. And I'm so grateful for her for that. But it was a really dark time in my life. And I guess it was only a matter of time before the universe was like, right, you need a little wake-up call. And I ended up in hospital with no more candle left to burn. And that is when my whole life changed. That is when I got the tap on the universe. And the first thing it said to me was, you got yourself here, so you got to get yourself out. And you are responsible for your own health and happiness. And that was kind of a bit of a slap across the face. I thought, holy crap, I am the reason why I'm here. And I do have to take responsibility and get myself healthy and happy again. And I had no idea how to do that. I just made that my mission. I made it my mission to get happy and healthy again. And that was back in 2010.
And what were some of your steps? Like, what were some of the steps that you took, to do that?
The first thing I did was I realized that I needed to know how to nourish my body. So I actually went and studied holistic nutrition at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which I'm actually a big ambassador for now, because that program changed my life. And I'm so grateful. It's a school in New York. Yeah, I'm a big affiliate for them now because I just love and adore them and what that program did for me. And so I went on and I studied holistic nutrition. And that course over that year where I was studying really helped me understand how to nourish my body. But then at the end of the qualification, you also become a certified holistic health coach. So I started working and coaching women on how to become healthy and happy again as well. So I kind of went through it and then I helped other women go through it. But during my time there, I also did my yoga teacher training. I studied meditation and learned how to meditate. I studied acuenergetics, which is energy healing work and moving energy around the body and healing the body through moving energy. And I studied to become a life coach over those years. And what I realized was that I wasn't the only one struggling. I wasn't the only one that was dealing with, eating issues and a disordered relationship with my mean girl, my inner mean girl. And I started a blog, which was back in 2011, the very start of 2011. And not many people had blogs back then. And what I did was I began to share what I was learning and what I was realizing on my blog. And all of these people were just gravitating toward it, saying, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one. Oh my gosh, me too. Oh my gosh, can you please coach me? Can you help me? And I wrote my first ebook and I created e-courses and meditation albums online. And then I wrote my first book and I began being asked to speak as an inspirational speaker all around the world. And it has just snowballed from there to where I am now, where I've got 2 best-selling books and this huge podcast, which is only just a year old. And we've hit over 2 million downloads. And it's just amazing. And I'm so glad that I had the courage to follow my intuition back in that hospital, even though I didn't know how it was going to unfold. And even though I had no idea what was going to present itself to me, I just knew that I had to sort my own health and happiness out. And as a result, I've been incredibly rewarded by getting to help other people do the same.
Did you ever feel like, because it feels like it happened, maybe it didn't happen so quickly, but it feels like it happened quite quickly, where you did the work on your own for you, and it turned into like this mission. But did it ever feel like when people were asking you, can you coach me? Can you do this? Did it ever feel like you were like an imposter? Not that you are. It's more like, we all deal with imposter syndrome, right? Like, it's like, can I do that? I guess I'm trained to do that, but like, can I do it? It's like those first few people that come to you. What did that feel like? And how did you really step into your light?
Well, I had an amazing mentor at the time, and he said to me, you are never, I'm trying to remember his exact words, but it was something along the lines of, everyone is doing the best that they can. And if you think that you've got to be enlightened to coach someone else, you are never going to get there. Like, no one is perfect. I actually deleted the word perfect and perfection from my vocabulary because you show me someone who has it all together. I want to meet them because can you, like, seriously, like if you know someone, please let me know because I'd love to shake their hand. But no one is perfect. It doesn't even exist. And he said to me, Melissa, all you have to do is share your experience and speak from your heart. And that's what I did. So I know, because I now coach a lot of coaches, I know that that's a big thing for a lot of coaches is they feel like they're imposters. They feel like, well, I can't coach someone on business if I don't have my business sorted. I can't coach someone in health if I haven't got my health sorted. I can't coach someone on relationships if I haven't got my relationships sorted. We're all working on growing and evolving. We're all work in progresses. Like we're never going to get to that point of enlightenment. And when we do, we'll levitate out of this body and we'll leave the world. We'll leave this physical plane. But right now, we're all still here, which means we've all got stuff to learn. So very early on in my coaching days, I got over that limiting mean girl belief that who am I to coach someone? So if there is anyone listening that is a coach that has that belief, like just let it go because there's no such thing as perfect or perfection. All we can do is share our experience and speak from our heart, and you will inspire other people. And I am honest with my, with my clients and with my tribe and my mentoring groups. And I'm like, I'm still working on this, guys. I'm still mastering my mean girl. I'm still practicing crystal clear communication with my husband every day. I'm not going to stand here and say I am quote unquote perfect. I am still on my path and I'm still on my journey. And I'm so grateful to be on this path and be on this journey with everyone at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Something that's beautiful. Something that you mentioned was, having an eating disorder and working through that. And, it often seems like there are people that have eating disorders and then, in order to overcome it, they immerse themselves in, health coaching or some sort of, way to educate themselves, but also get into it. Like, how did you, I guess, get through that? Like, can you talk about the path of your eating disorder and sort of how it brought you to finding food that nourishes you rather than restricting?
So mine kind of started when I was 20, when I moved to Paris to dance the Moulin Rouge. That's where it got really bad because I was witnessing all of these beautiful Amazonian-like women. I mean, if you've been to the Moulin Rouge, like the women are just like off Victoria's Secret's catwalk. Like they're stunning. And I was witnessing all of these women walking around calling themselves the most horrible names. I'm fat, I'm ugly, I've got this, I've got that. And it wasn't a good environment for someone that was in my situation who was very vulnerable and very sensitive to that stuff. It wasn't a very good environment for me to be in at that time. But, there's other people that go there and they're fine. But because of this mental state that I was in, it wasn't a supportive environment for me at that time in my life. And, I did some really stupid things. What I realized so then 4 years later, so that kind of went on for about 4 years. And then 4 years later, when I was 24, which is when I ended up in hospital, and I realized that I had absolutely, no idea how to look after myself. But when you are in hospital I had a whole host of health issues, but basically my entire immune system shut down. I had chronic fatigue, thyroid issues, like so many different things. But when your health is taken away from you, you really do question everything. You're like, well, without my health, I can't do the things that I want to do in the world. I can't inspire women. I can't do any of that. And so I really did have to look at the way that I was feeding my body. And so the first step was then enrolling in the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And I started to understand food as medicine. So that was like my first concept. And I started to then appreciate this vehicle that we've been gifted. And then I realized it's not just about what you put in your mouth. It's more about the thoughts that you think, or what I call your inner mean girl says to you. And so I began a deep dive journey into mastering my inner mean girl, because that voice was what drove my eating disorder. You're not skinny enough. You're not pretty enough. You don't look like her. That voice is what really exacerbated the eating issues. And so I did a lot of work on my inner mean girl, which is where Mastering Your Mean Girl, my first book, where it came from. And it's been my absolute mission from that moment to not only nourish my physical body, my temple, but to also make sure that I'm constantly mastering my mean girl, the voice inside my head, so that I don't disrespect this vehicle or disrespect myself ever again like I have in the past. And it's a journey. It's a journey. Like, for anyone who is struggling with body image or an eating issue, really look at what is going on internally. Because when you love and respect yourself so much, you will never treat your body like crap. But that's what we've got to look at. We've got to look at what is that internal dialogue saying to us. That's the best place to start.
Do you have any favorite mantras that you would kind of use to talk to that inner mean girl that our listeners could use as well?
Absolutely. So I have a 3-step mastering your inner mean girl voice, but this is also for the dudes too. Like, this doesn't, they've got inner critics too. And you can call it your inner critic, you can call it fear, you can call it ego, whatever you want to call it. And we've all got it. The thing is that women have between 60 and 80,000 thoughts a day. Men have 40,000. So we have potentially double the amount of internal dialogue going on upstairs. So that means that we might have to master that inner critic a lot more than they have to. But they're not exempt from this. We've all got that voice. So the 3-step process that I talk about in my book and in all my programs and in all my talks and everything that I do goes like this. The first step is awareness. You have to become aware of her voice and what she is saying. And maybe she is saying, you're not pretty enough, or you're not skinny enough, or you're not good enough, or you'll never meet the guy, you'll never get out of debt. Who do you think you are trying to write a book? Get over yourself. That voice. So we need to become clear on that first. And what I get everyone to do is write it down. So my mean girl is currently telling me that I'm not good enough, or my mean girl is currently telling me I'm never going to meet the guy. My mean girl is currently telling me I'm never going to get out of debt, or I'm not pretty enough, skinny enough, whatever. First step is awareness. Because once you are aware of something, you can then make change. But you don't know what you don't know. So if you're not aware of it, you can't change it because you don't know about it. So once we are aware of it, it's like we've turned on the light switch in a dark room. We're like, okay, I can see now. The second step is we gently close the door on that thought. So what most people do, and what I've done, in my early 20s, was I would let that voice in, and I'd let it come into my house, sleep over, wear all of my clothes, and sleep in my bed for weeks, months, and if not years. But that's what we don't want to do. So when that annoying fear-based voice comes knocking on your door, you say, thank you, but no thank you. I'm not interested. And imagine it like an annoying salesperson. Like if someone annoying comes and knocks on your door and they're like, want to give you this 45-minute spiel on something that you are just so not interested in, you'd be like, thank you, but no, thank you, I'm not interested. And that's what we've got to do with this inner critic. Thank you, but no, thank you, I'm not interested today. So that is the second step. We gently close the door. And the third step is we choose love instead. So this is when we choose a different mantra. So the first mantra that you were telling yourself is, I'm not good enough. The next one is, I am perfect and whole and complete just the way I am. I am perfect and whole and complete just the way I am. And you can choose mantras that inspire you. Use words that inspire you. I have a ton of them in both of my books. And it's really important that you use words that really resonate with you. Or I am just perfect and whole, or I am love, whatever you want to use those words. So that's the 3-step process. It's very simple, but doesn't mean it's going to be a piece of cake. Because remember what I said before, we've got 60 to 80,000 thoughts. So you may be doing this 60 to 80,000 times a day. Awareness, gently close the door, choose love instead. Because whatever we tell ourselves, whether we verbalize it or it's an internal thought, the universe is listening. And whatever you think, you will create. Whatever you believe, you will create. So if you think that you're not good enough, pretty enough, skinny enough, will never meet the guy, that is what you will manifest. That is what you will create in your life. So we really have to be mindful and get incredibly diligent with our inner dialogue as well as what actually comes out of your mouth. You will never, ever, ever hear me say something horrible about myself, ever. That doesn't mean sometimes my mean girl does pop up and she might think something, but you will never hear those words come out of my mouth unless I'm giving an interview like this and talking about it. Mm-hmm. But you will never hear me scold myself in front of the mirror anymore because I know that the universe is listening. And whatever I say and believe, I will manifest in my life. We create our reality through our thoughts and beliefs and our actions.
Amen, girl.
Love it.
What have you manifested? Has there been anything that sticks out that you're like, oh?
So much. And I actually keep a manifestation list. So I do it each year. So each year I can go back and go, oh my God, that's what I manifested that year. How amazing. So it's, because we conditioned to focus on the negative, but instead of focusing on the negative, I want to focus on the positive. And so each year, every time I manifest something, I add it to my list. It's just in Evernote. It's not fancy. I just type it in my Evernote under 2018 manifestations and achievements, I call them. I call them manifestations, achievements, and celebrations. A couple of the first things that come to my head is my husband. He is my dream soulmate, my dream man. Like, every day I am so grateful for him. Every day he is my twin flame, my soulmate, my partner in life. And I am just so, so grateful that we manifested each other, or we called each other in. We've been together in many lives before this. And I'm so grateful that we found each other again in this lifetime. So that's definitely one of the biggest manifestations. And I did a lot of work.
How did you manifest him?
Well, I talk about this in the book, in Open Wide. So, because the byline for Open Wide is a radically real guide to deep love, rocking relationships, and soulful sex. And I talk about in the book how I manifested Nick, and also how you can call in your soulmate too. So there's a couple of things that you can do. And the first thing that I did was I did a lot of work on myself. Like I had done for years. I really let go of a lot of my limiting beliefs. I really learned to master my mean girl and become bursting with love. Because before that, I had a really horrible relationship with myself. So I got to a place where I was happy and content within myself. And then I got crystal clear on the type of union I wanted in my life. And I have a whole chapter in the book on this. And it's chapter 4. It's called Dive Into Your Ocean. And it's where you get crystal clear on your beliefs, your core values, your interests, and your hobbies. Because when you know your core values and your beliefs and your interests and your hobbies so well, you are able then to call in someone who is aligned with you. But if you don't know what your core values are, then how the heck are you meant to call in someone who is aligned with you? Like, for example, if one of your core values around parenting is to not hit children, and you start dating someone who believes in hitting children, like, how is that going to work? I don't see how that's going to work, you know? So it's really, really important that you get clear on those things, and also, you know, how you want to feel in your partnership. How do you want to feel when you're in each other's presence? So that's another thing that I did. And then I literally acted as if every day I already had that. So I acted every day like I'd already had it. Like I didn't feel like I was lacking something within me and someone else was going to fill that. I felt already whole and complete and like I wasn't already lacking something. But I was like, it would be epic, you know, to hold hands with someone who is aligned on this journey with me. And Nick and I always say to each other that you're the cherry on top of my already delicious gluten-free, sugar-free cupcake. Like I'm already amazing and delicious, but you're the cherry on top. And I don't need the cherry. Like I actually don't need it. Like I'm already amazing and delicious on my own, but you bring a little sparkle, a little extra sparkle, and you're epic to hold hands with on this journey. And I wouldn't want anyone else to hold hands with on this journey. That's how you call in someone. But it's really important for anyone listening that you don't think you are missing something, because you're not missing something. You are amazing and perfect and whole just as you are. And you don't need someone else to complete you. My relationships before my husband were very much about filling voids. I filled a void in them and they filled a void in me. And what happens when we enter a union with that intent is there's an expiration date. It's not going to last forever. So it's really important that we come together with no expectations other than just wanting to be together because. You know, not because you feel a void in me. Like one of my old ones was I dated men that liked saving women, and hello, I wanted to be saved. So it was like this perfect match until the expiry date came around, and then that relationship dissolved, and then, you know, I'd bring in another one. But it's really important that you talk about in the book, you do the work on yourself, you get really clear, crystal clear on your desires and your values. You act as if you are already whole and complete. You feel it, like feel it in every cell of your entire body. Don't just say it, you've got to really feel it. And don't feel like you are lacking or missing anything, because you're not.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, Woo for Play. All right, we have your favorite lube at the ready. Woo for Play is 100% natural and organic. It doesn't mess with your pH, and there's no harmful chemicals. It is a coconut-based lube that we are just obsessed with, and also don't mind like taking a little taste test of it every once in a while. It's actually delicious because it has a little sweetener in it, a stevia, as well as beeswax and pure vanilla. It's delicious. Come on. Woo for Play is your lube that is going to enhance your sex life and even, your time with yourself, to be honest, like whatever you want to do. Let's not be afraid to kind of bring things into the bedroom, into private time, and just experiment, especially when it's safe and made with pure ingredients. I love it. Coconut Love Oil is only $24.99, and with our discount, you get 10% off. So use our code ALMOST30, ALMOST30 at checkout at Woo for Play. That's WOOFORPLAY.com. Let us know if you're loving this all natural, organic, no harmful chemicals lubricant. This is what you're missing in your bedside table. This episode is also brought to you by Simple Contacts. I have been a contact wearer for many years now. And you know what I'm guilty of? And I'm sure a lot of you can relate when I wait till the last minute to order my contacts. And then I drop one in the toilet and then I have to go in there and get it. Or I rip a contact and have to wear one around all day and can't quite see who I'm talking to. You know what I mean? But Simple Contacts is the most convenient way to renew your contact lens prescription and reorder your brand of contacts from anywhere in minutes. So even if you're going on vacation in a few days, it's super quick, super easy. It's vision care for the 21st century, to be honest. So if you need to renew your prescription, you take the 5-minute Simple Contacts vision test online. It'll be reviewed by a licensed doctor. You receive a renewed prescription and reorder your contacts. All you need is your current contacts, an internet connection, and 10 feet of space. Even if you're totally out of contacts, they've got an option for you, so don't worry. And if you have an unexpired prescription, just upload a photo or your doctor's information and order your lenses. Super, super easy. And they have all different brands and types of lenses that you're familiar with, so you don't have to shop around to find your lenses at the best price. I just love the experience. And the vision test is only $20. Compare that with an appointment, which without insurance could cost up to $200. The contact lens prices are unbeatable. Standard shipping is free. And best of all, we're offering a promotion to our listeners. Come on. So to save $20 on your lenses, just go to simplecontacts.com/almost30. We just want to mention, by the way, this is not a replacement for your periodic full eye health exam. You still need those occasionally, but it is the most convenient way to renew a prescription and reorder your contacts if your vision hasn't changed. Okay. Simple Contacts, simplecontacts.com/almost30. You guys know I have to spell it. Come on. And you'll get $20 off your first Simple Contacts order.
The soulful sex. So what does that mean to you? And sort of what is that aspect of, the book and the relationship?
Well, before my husband, I was having junk food sex. And I didn't know that soulful sex was actually a thing. I didn't know it was possible because I just experienced junk food sex, mutual masturbation. It was just about getting off. There was no divine communion. Mm-hmm. And so for me, soulful sex is when two conscious, mindful, and aware people come together to experience pure bliss, love, God, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Mm. And it's about uniting. It's about coming together. We, Nick and I sometimes call it adult meditation because it is like it is a meditation for me and for him. Mm-hmm. It is like a meditation. And it is such a soulful, divine experience where I experience pure, unconditional love, God, oneness, and it's bliss. It's actually bliss. And if you both have that intent to come together to experience that, that's when you'll experience it. but I didn't know it was possible until I'd experienced it. Like, I'd kind of read about it in books, and I was like, what the heck are they talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first books that I read that really kind of instilled this in my mind, or planted the seed, I should say, was the work of David Dieter. I don't know if you guys have read his stuff, but I read Dear Lover, and Nick read The Way of the Superior Man. And it's so crazy because before we got together, about 6 months before we actually came together, we were both reading that book at the exact same time. We didn't even know. We didn't know each other. Like, we didn't know. But we were reading the same. Like, I was reading Dear Lover. He was reading Way of the Superior Man by David Dieter 6 months before we got together. And then we just like came together, and we both read these amazing texts and been inspired to create something like that they talk about. So that was kind of like where the first seed was planted.
It's so cool that, like, divine timing, you were both kind of working on those things at the same time. I'm thinking about maybe some of our listeners who are in relationships where their partner is not as conscious. Like, how do you invite them into a conscious space and make them feel safe and not intimidate them or make them feel less than?
Mm-hmm.
I get this question so much, and there's a couple of things that you can do. The first thing that I want to say is you cannot fix, change, or improve anyone else. You can lead the horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink. And if you are trying to change your partner or get them on board, you may end up causing yourself a lot of stress. And I've tried. I have tried with ex-partners, and I've tried with my family, and I have a bonus son, and I've tried to get him to do things. But what I have realized is that the only way to inspire another human being, and I talk a lot about this in Open Wide, the only way to inspire another human being or lead another human being to the water is by being the example, is by being the living, breathing, walking, talking example of what you believe, okay? Then when it comes to your lover, practicing what I call crystal clear communication. So what I would do if I was in that situation would be I would lead by example. I would continue to show up. And if my partner wasn't as conscious, I would continue to show up, because without any expectations of him coming on board, I would continue to show up. I would just keep showing up. But I would also crystal clearly express to him or her my desires, and I still have to do this with my husband, that, I have to sit him down and say, darling, I love this, but I would really love to work on this, or I would really love to go deeper with you here. And it can feel really vulnerable sometimes. Crystal clear communication is about opening your heart and communicating from your heart space, not your head. It's not about blaming the other person or pointing the finger. Because every time you point the finger at someone, there's 3 fingers pointing straight back at you. And we have to take responsibility. And so I would highly recommend leading by example and then practicing crystal clear communication. Sit them down and say, I really want to work on this with you, or I want to go deeper in this area with you. Are you open to exploring this with me? How about we try this? And just having that open, honest, authentic, real, vulnerable dialogue with them. And then if they're like, nope, not interested, then there's space for you to think about, well, can I fully accept this? And if I can't fully accept this, then the other option is to leave. There's only 2 options. You fully accept that person for who they are, or you leave. There's only 2 options.
Yeah. I know. I think a lot of it is people just coming to terms with, there is potential there and there is like hope or not. And I think that's the hardest part. People like work at something that was not for them a long time ago. Mm-hmm. So that's always hard to kind of come to terms with. But I think I
feel like the women advice. A lot of times in their relationships are sort of like the guide or the gauge of where things are emotionally or spiritually. So I don't really, I don't want to put everyone into the same box, but I don't really know any situations where the man has been the one that sort of wants to spiritually move forward or spiritually experience something differently. So I always feel like it's like the woman that's sort of leading the conversation about emotional growth or areas of improvement or something like that. They're sort of always keeping the temperature in relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely witnessed a lot of that along my journey.
Yeah, I completely. So you knew when you found, how did you know that he was the one, and how can someone know, that someone is the one for them?
I have had so many of my friends, and my mum and dad are still happily married. Oh. And my husband's parents are still happily married, and they've been married for maybe like 45 years. And my parents have been married about 40 years. I had a couple of friends that I really admired, and they'd all said to me, when you know, you know. And I was like, whatever. Like, that is the biggest load of crock I've ever heard. I'm like, whatever. Like, no. And my boyfriend before my husband, I was in a relationship with him for about 3 years, I think. And people would say to me, oh, you're going to get married? And I was like, no, I don't believe in marriage. No, I don't believe in marriage, and I don't want to have kids. But I realize now that that was just me protecting myself because I knew he wasn't the one. And I would convince myself that I didn't believe in marriage and I didn't want to have kids. I was like, no, it's not for me. It's not for me. But I knew deep, deep, deep down that he wasn't the one for me. And so I had my friends say, when you know, you know. And when I met Nick, we'd actually known each other for about 3 years, and I share this story in the book. We'd known each other for about 3 years before we actually got together, but not very well. I mean, he was in a relationship, I was in a relationship. We'd seen each other, probably had like 2 conversations, not very well. I'd always thought he was very handsome, but never thought anything else because he was in a very long-term relationship, and so was I. So I never allowed myself to even think anything more. It's almost like the universe was like, block, don't go there. And I realize now that we couldn't have got together any sooner because we both had a lot of internal work that we needed to do. And that 3 years before we actually got together was when a lot of growth was happening for both of us. And we were both going through very similar things. And we're both in 3-year relationships. And both of those relationships were very healing relationships. We had a lot of karmic healing to do with our ex-partners. And so when we got together, we were both, before we got together, both at a place within ourselves where we had finally experienced or found internal peace and happiness. And I had never experienced that before in my life. I had never known that existed. And when we got together on our second date, I texted my best friend and I said, I'm going to marry him. And she was like, what, girlfriend? You don't believe in marriage. You don't want to have kids. And Nick has a son. So before, my girlfriend's thinking, what the heck? Like the relationship before, you had just been telling everyone that you don't want to get married and you don't want to have kids. And here I am saying on the second date, I want to marry him and have an instant kid, like a bonus kid straight away. And I'm like, I just know. And she's like, oh my God. And this is one of my best friends who is in a marriage, and she's very, very happily married still. And they have a son too. And she's like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And I was like, I know. And she's like, I have never seen you like this. And I've never heard you talk like this before. And I just was like, just unwavering conviction. I was like, I know. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my gut, my cells. My whole body just knows. And I've never been more certain about anything in my entire life. And we have been married for 4 years now. And it's, 4 years is still not like my parents' 40 years. But we are still, very, very, very much in love. It still feels like the honeymoon phase for us. And we, decided to not buy into that story that the honeymoon phase only lasts for a year. We're like, no, we want to be in honeymoon phase when we're freaking 95. We want to still be ravishing each other when we're that old and well into, the later years of our life. You just know, and you've got to follow that feeling, because our intuition speaks to us in feelings, not so much words. Like our inner critic is more, that will speak to us in words, but our intuition is more that feeling. And so I just followed that feeling.
I love that. It's hard though. I feel like sometimes with people, it's like they have a knowing, but then there's also grasping. There's like we're going to get married, and there's like a grasping to it where they want something so bad because there's almost an inner fear that's happening. That they're afraid they're going to lose it, so they're kind of pushing someone along or forcing it. So it's an interesting dance. I've done the grasping thing, and I've also done, I have the knowing, but it's just super interesting. And I do feel like you do know, people say that, and I do actually believe that when you know, and there's been nothing, truer than those words in my life too.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, Barukas. Wow, Almost 30 Nation, you're in for a treat today because we are introducing some new brands that we have brought on as sponsors of the Almost 30 podcast. I am so proud because Barukas is the healthiest nut in the world, and they want to partner. Okay, they're so good. I've gone through a couple bags, not a big deal. I've also shared with friends, whatever. Few facts, okay? They have at least 25% fewer fat calories than other nuts. They are the best on protein, 6 grams with all essential aminos, which is not common except for cashews. They have over 3 times the antioxidant power of other nuts. And they are the top nut in micronutrients, loaded with magnesium and other healthy boosting minerals. And finally, they are the highest in fiber, more than any other nut. Come on, takes the cake. This brand was founded by a guy named Darren Olean, and he's a global superfood hunter for over 15 years. And he was traveling through South America when he came across this nut known to the indigenous tribes for millennia, but virtually unheard of anywhere else. And he just dubs them as literally a mini cocktail of hard-to-find micronutrients and vegan protein. And they aren't just good for you, they're good for the world. The growth of barukas can help put an end to the deforestation and preserve the original flora. And not only that, it will allow indigenous people to make a sustainable living off of the land. It's a true win all around. So visit barukas.com. So that's BARUKAS.com. And you can use our code almost30 for 15% off. This brand is conscious. It is delicious. It's a great snack on the go. You can mix it in your little bowls that you make, whatever you want. Just know it's the healthiest nut in the world. I also want to talk about the female relationships in your life and how they have evolved, with the work that you've done. I feel like also with success, it's hard, and we talk about it a lot on the podcast, or we have talked about it, and we talk about it with our community because they're dealing with the same thing as women are evolving and they're progressing in their careers and they're becoming more conscious. Sometimes you kind of have to, step away from some relationships that might not be serving you anymore. And it's really difficult because there's history there. And how do you do that gracefully? And is there a way to do it gracefully? I don't know. So what has been your experience with women, and how has it changed with the work that you've done?
Yeah, I talk a lot about this in the book as well, because you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So think about that. Think about the 5 most prominent people in your life and you are an average of those people. And some people might be like, yeah, that's awesome, high-fiving yourself. And other people you might be like, oh crap. Oh crap. And if you're in the oh crap category, that's okay. What I suggest you do is you don't have to break up with them over text message. What you can do is start to just funnel your energy in a different direction. Instead of giving so much energy to that person or that relationship, that person's drama, you know, if they're full of drama, instead of giving so much energy to that person and their drama, funnel that to someone else who inspires you. So it's like you don't have to cut them out of your life. You don't have to break up with them over text message. You literally just start to funnel your energy somewhere else, and the universe will help you out. You know, ask for support, ask for guidance. The universe will support you. And that is what I've done over the years. Like for me, I am a massive believer in if you want a relationship to flourish, like a plant, you've got to water it. You've got to water it. You've got to give it love, attention, energy. You've got to give it the right amount of sunlight. Same with your relationships. You've got to give them time, energy, love, all sorts of things in order for them to thrive. And it comes back to, we teach others how to treat us. And if you want more soul sisters in your life, like if you want more like-minded soul sisters, you've got to be that type of person to others first. You can't sit back and just expect beautiful, like-minded soul sisters to treat you a certain way if you're not treating them a certain way. I pour so much love and attention into my relationships with my girlfriends. And that is because I love and adore them, but I want those relationships to flourish and thrive. And in order for them to flourish and thrive, they need watering and love and attention.
What does that mean for you? Like, what does watering love and attention mean specifically?
Well, what I do on my own is they're always in my gratitude list. That's one thing. They're always in my gratitude list. I pray for them. You know, at the end of my meditations, I pray for them. I pray for their health and their happiness. And then what that physically looks like is sending beautiful messages, you know, sending flowers on important days, checking in with them, sending beautiful love notes just for the sake of it, for no reason, listening, like really listening. And I give in Open Wide so many different strategies on how to be an epic soul sister. But these are just some of the things that I do. Picking up the phone and having hour-long conversations and listening, like really listening, not talking all the time, just listening and being there, you know, catching up when we can. Of course, we've all got things going on, but making regular time to catch up, whether it's for a walk or, you know, monthly dinners or something like that. But just that's me investing in those relationships. And, you know, it doesn't take long to send a beautiful message. So yesterday, I just sent a beautiful long voice message I use an app called Voxer, which is, you can send voice messages. I sent the most beautiful long voice message to one of my best friends, just saying how much I love and adore her and how grateful I am to have her in my life and how much she inspires me and how she inspires me. And I just sent this big, long message. And then she responded today and just said, I don't think you understand how much that meant to me, because her and her husband are going through a separation. And I didn't actually know that. It actually just happened. I sent that message at the exact time she needed it. And isn't it perfect how the universe works? So she's going through this incredibly hard time and I send this beautiful message. So that's just that's one example. It doesn't take long to send a voice message. You know, it does not take long to take a few seconds out of your day to be kind to someone else and to help someone else. And this is something that I'm really, really active with and passionate about, because random acts of kindness, even saying thank you, that means a lot to me, or something like that, they go such a long way. We live in a culture where it's go, 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 do, quick, 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 that by just stopping and saying, thank you so much for that message, it really meant a lot to me. Like, will make someone's day, you know? So it's about treating others the way you want to be treated. And that goes for your love relationship as well, not just your friendships, but all of your relationships.
And I think the saying thank you and the acknowledgement is closing the energy loop. You know, so if you're giving it and then you're receiving it, you're closing that energy loop, which is super important to, like, as a message to the universe that, like, this is sent, this is received. I like this. I want more of this. So I think that's like what's super important about that. And that was beautiful. So I just have a last question. So, you know, the relationship thing is amazing and incredible, but what about when it gets hard? Like, what about the fights and sort of what about the challenging times in your relationship? Like, how do you navigate those conversations with your partner?
This is such a great question. And Nick and I just finished our tour around Australia. We toured around Australia celebrating, he's a musician, so celebrating his music and my book. So he wrote a song called Open Wide and my book is called Open Wide. And we created a show that was a mixture between music, motivation, and meditation. So it was like a real life play kind of thing. So amazing. And one of the stories that we shared in this show was about a really challenging time that Nick had last year. So he was going through an incredibly challenging time. He was getting a spiritual upgrade. His operating system was getting an upgrade. There was a lot of challenge. It was very hard for both of us. Very, very hard. There was a lot of anger from him. There was a lot of frustration because he felt stuck. He was sitting in suffering and pain and fear, and he couldn't see the light. And here I am over here going, the light's here. Like, just look up. It's here, you know. But when someone's suffering, that's the last thing they want to hear. You know, I'm sure there's many times he wanted to just like slam the door in my face. But how we got through that was by practicing a lot of the things I talk about in the book. And one of those is crystal clear communication. And I would say to him, I love you and I'm here for you, but I'm not going to contribute to your suffering. You know, or things like that. Like, we would just crystal clearly communicate. And we didn't always get it right. Don't get me wrong. You know, there was plenty of times where I slept on the couch. And there was plenty of times where I had to self-soothe myself. And, you know, I would place my hand over my heart and I would remind myself that this too shall pass, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. And he's suffering and I need to be his support right now. And he needs me more than anything right now to be his support and his rock. And it's very hard because the feminine take things very personally. And men, not so much. They don't take things as personally as women do. And so I would have to really self-soothe myself and do a lot of my own internal work. And I went and saw my spiritual mentor. I had her on the phone to me a lot of the time. And so I couldn't seek my comfort in him because he could barely comfort himself at that time. So I had to go and get outside support. So if you are in a challenging time with your partner and I'm not talking about physical or verbal abuse here. I'm just talking about, like, you know, the stuff that comes up, you know, grief. If one of you have lost someone, these sorts of things, really challenging life circumstances that do come up. And so I did a lot of internal work myself. It forced me to get back to my meditation cushion even more. It forced me to go and see my spiritual mentor daily. I had her on Voxer. I was voxing her constantly. She was helping me work through the stuff that was coming up for me as a result of Nick going through his own experience. So what I would suggest is definitely, as best you can, practice crystal clear communication with your partner, and then also go and seek advice from someone that you love and that you trust. Get support, not seek advice, get support. Like have someone who can hold you whilst, if your partner is going through something, but if, you're both going through something. And I actually said to Nick, I think we need to go and see someone together. And we actually didn't end up doing it, but we have the same mentor, and we saw her separately. So we saw her separately, and then we'd actually booked in to see her together. And by that time we'd resolved it. He'd moved through it. But, having these conversations with someone, with an outside party, is really important. And someone who's like not connected to you. So it's not your mom, or it's not his mom, or it's not anyone who's related, just someone, this person is our spiritual mentor, and we go to her for that purpose. And she's become, a great friend of ours too. But I think having support outside of the relationship, practicing crystal clear communication as best you can, and doing the work on yourself is really important. And also one other thing is we renew our vows every year. And because you change and you evolve, and kids come into the mix, or kids leave the nest. And so as a couple, your goals are going to change. So we set goals individually on January 1st every year, but we also set goals as a couple. And then every April, which is our anniversary, we renew our vows and we re-say our vows. So we have this thing called the Lover's Code. And some of the things in the Lover's Code are things like, we will never go to bed angry. That's in our code. We will never swear at each other. That's in our code. And so we've created this Lover's Code of conduct. And if one of us steps out of that, we're like, hey, you know what? That's not in our code. And then, Nick said to me the other day, he's like, we don't speak to each other like that. That's not in our code. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I'm so sorry. And I apologized completely. We hugged and we kissed and we let it go. Where what I would have done in the past is hold on to that for weeks and held on to that anger and resentment. So, having a lover's code of conduct and renewing your vows, like these are really great things that you can do as a partnership, because individually I want to grow and evolve to be the best version of myself. Like I want to constantly grow and evolve. And in my relationship, Nick and I want to grow and evolve as well. We want to go deeper and deeper and deeper in love and expansion. And in order to do that, you've got to set these goals and parameters. Otherwise, you're kind of just going round and round in circles and you're never growing as a couple.
I love the Lover's Code.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love that one.
And I just love the transparency and the way you guys collaborate together. I think it's for people to see that and to know that like your journey and your relationship hasn't always been perfect, but the constant is that crystal clear communication, is that respect, is that kindness at the end of the day. I think that's really important for people to witness. I wish we could talk all night, so much more. But how can our listeners connect with you? Books, social media, all of that. I'm excited for them to really do a deep dive into your work.
Well, thank you. That's very sweet of you. And you can head to my website, which is just melissaambrosini.com. And you can check out both of my books, Mastering Your Mean Girl and Open Wide. And I've got a whole bunch of programs and products there. Check out my podcast. It's called The Melissa Ambrosini Show. Nick also has a podcast. It's called Broad New World. And he actually did a podcast yesterday. He does daily podcasts. He does, I know, right? He does 5 a week. I know, right? I'm like, that is dedication, brother. Wow. But he did one yesterday called The Lover's Code, and he tells everyone our code on it. So if you're interested in hearing about our code, listen to that episode. Check out my books, my speaking gigs, and then I'm really active on Instagram and Facebook, and that's just Melissa Ambrosini Tribe on Facebook and Melissa Ambrosini on Instagram. I love Instagram. Come and introduce yourself to me on there. I try and read every single message. So please come and introduce yourself and hang out and listen to the show and read my books and let me know what you think.
Awesome. Thank you so much for making the time. I know you're very busy, so it really means a lot to us. And we're so excited to have our community connect with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can't wait to share this with them. And we have the book too, so we cannot read open wide. Yeah,
so excited.
Awesome. Thank you, beautiful ladies.
Yes, thank you so much.
If you're ever in LA, please let us know.
Yes.
And we'll do the same.
Yes.
Yeah, I will be there in September, so I will definitely let you know.
Yes, great. Would love to meet up.
That would be great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
We'll talk soon. Bye. What an episode.
What an episode.
Melissa Ambrosini.
Just a lot of it's really good, thoughtful information.
Yeah, and relatable. You know? I
good
just kind of want to know that I'm not alone when it comes down to it. And she's been through it and has helped a lot of women go through it. So you can visit her website, melissaambrosini.com. Grab her book, Mastering Your Mean Girl, as well as Open Wide. I really love Open Wide. And yeah, join our secret Facebook group. Let's talk about this and anything else. My best friend was just talking about the podcast the other day, and I tell him, how great the group is. And he just was so emotional. He's my gay's best friend, and he is getting married. So he's very emotional about everything. And he's like, I feel your community. Even though I'm not in it and at your events and stuff, he's like, I really do feel the power of Almost 30 Nation, which was so cute. Yeah. I was like, you can feel it and you're not he's in it, but he's, you know what I mean? He's not. So
and those conversations are happening at the events.
It's incredible.
It's magic.
I really think we need to, maybe it's just me, but I need to take a moment or take a day and just really take in what's going on, because this is so much bigger than us and it's not about us. And I'm just I'm just starting to feel the gravity of what's going on because we're on tour. Mm-hmm. And so just thank you to everyone who's come out, and we hope to meet as many of you as possible. So if you can make it to the tour, great. And also, hopefully we'll be traveling like this more often, and we'd love to come to where you are. So if there's enough interest, we will come to your city.
Yeah.
Anywho, we hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Have a great weekend. See you soon.
We love you.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Push them out.
Wrap it up. The intro was long enough.
Maybe you left your mark, reminding me to forget.